Roll for initiative.
Hello, everyone out there in RFI land. We're back again for issue number 54. That's right, 54 issues, and we're complete this week. As I am DM Vince, along with DM Nick, and, well, who's this voice coming in right now?
Hey, it's DM Jayson.
Who?
And I'm back.
Who?
Who?
DM Jayson. Nick, you know
Yeah,
what
I remember you guys.
Yeah.
I know this guy. I'm not sure.
So what you been up to, Jason?
Geez. Been pretty busy. I've been playtesting my friend George's new game, actually, Legends and Labyrinths, which is a kind of a return to the old school rules approach, and it's very much in the spirit of the kind of Frank Menser approach to gaming, which is really cool. He's actually going to be debuting it at Gen Con this year.
Oh, wow.
So I've been having a lot of fun like playing with the beta version and getting the bugs out. I think everybody's going to be really excited to check that out. And actually, another friend of mine is going to be doing some beta testing of their new game at Gen Con, and it's called Adventurer, Conqueror, King. So I don't have
very
details.
Conan-ish.
Yeah. It kind of takes that whole promise of being able to go from a commoner to real kingdom builder kind of thing, and distills it down to really that those core elements. So Tavis, my friend Tavis, has been working on that. So there's a couple of cool new old school style games to look out for around Gen Con this year.
Cool.
Oh, well, speaking about conventions, Nick, you want to tell us about Origins?
Yeah. Just got back from Origins, and boy, are my dice tired. It was...
How many random encounters did you roll on the way back?
None. I was lucky. I wasn't driving. But it was okay. It was a pretty good con. It was just as, not the same level as last year, though. Attendance has dropped since probably about 2008, 2009. They're getting there. No problems. I'm really concerned about the attendance, though.
Yeah.
On a Friday or a Saturday, years past, I mean, generally the registration area is packed. Past few years, and including this year, it's practically walk up and there was hardly any line. You'd maybe wait 10 minutes at the most.
Why do you suppose that is?
Well, I think part of it's the economy.
Yeah.
I think people can't afford to go to the convention. I mean, you're seeing less and less people come.
And $5 gas.
Well, yeah, when you're talking like anywhere between $3.50 to $5 a gallon, depending where you are.
Hey, our gas just went down.
If you're driving, some people used to fly here, and Lord knows how much that costs.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
I drive everywhere in my World War II tank, so gas is.
Oh, you're eating gallon a mile.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah.
But so, I mean, I think that's part of it, because you're seeing less and less people from further out. I mean, at Origins, you would get people like from all the way from California, some people from foreign countries too. I mean beyond even Canada. So yes, our friendly neighbors to the north.
America's hat.
There was a group of guys like that. They wore T-shirts. They were from Toronto, I think, and they had T-shirts that says Canada. I think said America's hat on it.
Yeah,
and they were so cool. I said, I'm glad you guys are here because I'm afraid this convention's gonna die. But
speaking about dying, you said they were going to change something.
Yes, this is one thing this was the big buzz this year. Next year and the year after, 2013, they are basically moving the dates for Origins up 1 month, basically to the end of May, beginning of June.
Okay. Why is that a good or bad thing?
Well,
in my opinion, and the opinions of many, many people there, this is a very bad move.
Okay. Why?
Because, one, most schools in the area are not let out yet. Your high schools, junior highs, grade schools are not let out of school yet. Okay. That's going to cut into attendance because a lot of the families, because it's a real family atmosphere at Origins. A lot of, and I would say, not say a lot, but a significant amount of gamer families, they bring their whole families, and that's how they sometimes do their summer vacation. They all geek out there. So that's part of it. Another thing is they have a special teacher's hall pass thing. If you're a teacher of any sort of caliber, you get to go to the convention for free.
So they're moving the convention to June, you're saying, or May?
End of May, beginning of June.
All right, that's what part I got confused about. Okay.
It's kind of like in there. So 2012 and 2013 dates are like end of May, beginning of June. Also,
so why would they do that?
From what I heard, it's because I guess the convention center rates are cheaper earlier in the year versus the summer months.
So what you're saying is they're having some trouble. Attendance is down. They don't have as much money, so they need cheaper rates. And then they're going to go to a date when attendance will go down even more.
Yep.
Pretty much. That's what I think's going to happen. Yeah. You pretty much.
It's kind of what they call the death spiral.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's kind of that's where. But there's already petitions started on Facebook for this, and the
petitions don't pay the bus fare.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. They used to have free shuttle service. They have it this year.
Well, so if people want Origins to be at the same time and to be a great thing, then a lot more people need to sign up to attend.
Yeah.
In other words, they need more money to make it a better thing, so more people have to go. So everybody go to Origins. And Gen Con. And
that would be great.
And Kineticon. And
anything else?
And Texicon. And Omicon.
And GaryCon.
And GaryCon. And Historicon.
You know what,
go to all of the cons.
And all of them. Just go to every one you can, every weekend.
Well, imagine that life.
Yeah.
Con to con to con.
But overall, it was fun. It was good.
So Kineticon is coming up really soon, July 8th through the 10th. So that's this coming weekend after the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. And I will be up there. I'm going to be running a couple of games. I'm running one old school AD&D game. I don't know if I want to say what it is because people could go and read the adventure, but it's going to be it's my favorite adventure of all time. It was actually published in Dragon Magazine, not as a separate module. And I'm going to be running a mini adventure, a Gamma World mini adventure from the Legion of Gold. So,
nice.
But yeah, it's going to be up in Hartford, Connecticut, and I've never been to this con before, but it looks really, really amazing. It's just kineticon.org.
The guy that does Kineticon goes to Mepicon all the time. I always talk to him about it.
Cool.
So that's going to be a cool thing. Go there and see DM Jayson, get his autograph.
Or just, roll dice at me.
Whatever.
Or throw dice at him.
Throw dice at me. Throw me good ones.
So let's talk about the Big Mac Daddy coming up in 30 days, Jayson.
Yeah, there's another convention this year.
What's it called?
It's in Indianapolis, so it probably has a name that has to go with that.
IndiaCon?
It's probably something like that, yeah.
AnnapolisCon?
That makes sense.
Gen Con.
Yeah.
General Convention.
Gen Con. There you go. That makes
sense.
Jayson and I will be there. We'll be doing probably a show from there, and Jayson will be running games, right?
No, I'm not running any games this year.
Oh.
I've got so much going on, people from all over the country that I haven't seen for a year that I want to spend time with, and all these games I wanted to play in. So I didn't sign up to run any games this year.
I will be running 2 games of classic D&D, so you can find those. Actually, I think they're both sold out at this point.
Cool.
I know registration is going to be closing by the time everybody hears this. So, yeah. Just stop on the table. If someone doesn't show up, obviously you can step in with generic tickets.
I was just out in Indianapolis last week.
What a
for
tease.
A totally unrelated thing.
What a tease.
I know, it was so weird because I was out there to do something work-related, but I was staying at the Omni, this Omni Severin, and I was going down for breakfast, and I'm like, where's all the gamers? Come on, guys.
Was
I'm
it
looking
weird
around.
being in there without all the gamer stuff?
It's so weird. That's the only reason I ever go to Indianapolis is for Gen Con, and walking around, I'm staying by the convention center, and there's all the hotels where I know the games are about to be, and all the restaurants that are going to have the cool people in them, and the Ram, which does their restaurant up all cool for Gen Con. And I'm just expecting at any minute to see a bunch of Ren Fair geeks to run one way and anime geeks to run the other, and a bunch of guys with LARP swords to come up the street. None of it was happening, and it was freaking me out.
Please tell me one thing, that all that construction's gone.
No, it's not.
What?
The construction, there's this huge
season here.
There's a huge swath of construction right between what is it, Meridian Street?
Yeah.
That's next to the Omni, and whatever street it is that's got the convention center. There's just a huge block that's been torn up.
I was hoping that'd be done by now.
You know what? It's really good for apocalyptic LARPers.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Go.
I could see that. All right, so meet us up at Gen Con. We're going to have a little meet-up. We'll sit and chat with everyone like we did last year. Probably in the Omni again. I don't know.
That was a cool place to do it. Why not? Yeah.
Jason could buy a cup of coffee and get us a table for 12.
Exactly.
Like the last time.
They love us.
I'll have a cup of coffee and a table for 12. That's funny.
They love it.
Okay, so we'll see you at Gen Con. Nick.
Yeah.
What's our Starsy Stars?
Starsy Stars.
Crunchy Stars.
Our stars over here on iTunes. We have 1 4-star review.
4-star. Okay, good.
And it's called Good Times, Great Production, a little lopsided.
What?
But yeah. It's by Richard Kircher. Says, really enjoy the podcast. Get some great guests. The chaptering is above and beyond. Wonderful for a 1 hour plus per episode length. They keep individual sections pretty tight to keep it interesting. My only complaint really comes from the balance with the hosts. DM Nick never seems to get the same respect as DM Vince. It's not overt. They don't actively put Nick down, but if you listen to the show, it's not even the cleric weapon debate. But you'll notice his difference of opinion is quickly dismissed. On the other side, DM Jayson really monopolizes the show. He talks as much as Vince and Nick combined.
Jeez.
Otherwise, great show, should be a model for fan casts. I don't really notice. I mean, we just talk. I mean, we take everybody's opinions for what it is.
Whatever, Nick.
It's like, so. Oh yeah, well, fine.
That's really just your opinion.
Yeah,
I'm stomping off now.
We don't care. Anyway, blunt weapons.
Well, then he should be happy that I was absent for a couple of shows.
Yeah,
I didn't talk much. No, I'm kidding. No, it might seem like that, but you know what? We all have our opinions, and everybody, takes it for what it is, and that's cool. So it's like, I don't know. Never
I thought
really
I
noticed.
disagreed. I thought I disagreed with Vince way more than I disagreed with you.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm kind of the middle of the road guy anyway.
Oh yeah, you and I argue all the time about the rules.
Yeah, that's our whole shtick.
Yeah,
that's our whole shtick.
No, you two is like, oh my gosh, geek fight, go!
Yeah.
I would prefer if you called it a nerd fight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nerd fight, geek fight, whatever. Still same thing. Still gonna be hands
Like
flailing.
the opinion matters.
Yeah. Nick,
Still gonna be hands flailing, going, stop it.
all right, Nick, be quiet. Anyway.
Hey.
All right, we thank you for the 4-star review, and we'll try to put a rope around Jason's mouth once in a while. There you go. And if you want leave us comments, osrgaming.org, our forums, we're consolidated now, or d20radio.com. Still our sponsors. They have forums there, as Full On Gamer likes to point out that, hey, we're still here, and we still like to say things.
Or Facebook.
Or Facebook, yeah.
Or Dragon's Foot.
Actually, we're not on...
Or iTunes, again.
We're not on Dragon's Foot anymore. We pulled away from there, actually, to consolidate.
Okay.
So, we're just at OSR Gaming, Facebook, and D20 Radio.
Okay.
The triple three.
Yes.
And
threat.
I think that's about it. We'll head into Taylor Manners.
Typical. Of all the evil creatures in the world, I'd like to find one with table manners.
What, are you kidding me? I spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Table manners.
Okay. Tonight on Table Manners, or today, or whatever time you're listening, we're going to get into a section where I'm actually not too familiar with, so I'm kind of excited about talking about this, is the monk class. Probably the...
I don't know either.
The monkeys.
The monk class, kind of,
well,
martial arts kind of guy. And
it's three different types.
How to, the difference between the one in the player's handbook and the one in the Oriental Adventures book, if there's any differences. Are backgrounds important for this character for the campaign? And why is the monk class in itself very difficult to qualify for, and maybe a few other things. So this is one of those classes, at least to kind of start off, I don't think I've ever played, because I looked at the class. I remember when I first got my player's handbook, I'm like, meh. Kind of
well,
cool.
It's just,
yeah.
It doesn't fit the mold of the rest of them.
Class 10 and no armor.
You're a magic user.
Yeah, worse than that, It's like, and I can use only what weapons, and I only do this much damage, what?
And it doesn't fit the mold of the other classes that much. So when you're looking at the game for the first time, you kind of look at it and go, it's enough for me to figure out all the rest of this.
Right, you're kind of going,
yeah.
Huh? Why is this
so
here?
it's just...
But I think the class has some really cool things, especially when you get up to middle to high level, as far as the abilities. But in itself, it's very difficult to qualify for.
The traditional one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's and Dex minimum 15 and a Constitution minimum of 11. So,
yeah, in the Oriental Adventure one, you need a 15 in Strength, Wisdom, and Dexterity, minimum 11 Constitution. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing out of the Oriental Adventures book. The only difference that I saw was they incorporated some of the specific martial arts rules in that book, along with the key power stuff.
And the honor system.
Other than that, it's really a reprint of the PHB one. For the most part, I don't really see any other differences. I mean, one of the things I remember looking at this character class is like dexterity gives them no armor class adjustments.
No.
Why? That makes no sense to me. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, someone please explain. I do not know. So.
I think they're a waste of time class at the beginning. As you go up in level, they're probably better, but I don't know. I tried playing one once and I hated it.
Yeah, I never played the ones out of either book, but there was an article written in Dragon Magazine in September of 1981. It was issue 53. You can also find this article reprinted in the Best of Dragon Volume 3.
Okay.
It's called He's Got a Lot to Kick About, and it's by Philip Myers, and it's basically a retread of the monk class. And if I was going to play a monk, if I wanted to have the monk class in my campaign, in fact, I remember writing up house rules for it. This is the one I'm going to use, is out of the Dragon Magazine. Just to highlight a few differences. One, like the armor class thing I mentioned to you. Mm-hmm. In the PHB and Oriental Adventures, you start with an armor class of 10? At least with this one, the monk starts with an armor class of 6.
Oh, that's a little better.
Also, your hit dice, instead of 4-sided, it's 6-sided. So you start with 2d6.
Oh, so you can actually get all the way up to 18d6?
Yeah, well, novice, compared to the PHB version, instead of starting with 2d4, yeah, you start with 2d6 at level 1.
That's a little much.
Yeah.
I think that's to compensate for the lack of armor that they wear. Also, there's a little bit of differences in movement rates are a little bit different. Open hand damage is actually, if I remember correctly, is a little bit less. Actually, no, just a little bit more, not much more. Like first level novice in the PHP version, open hand damage is 1 to 3. Level 1 in the article is 1 to 4.
So, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Different special abilities. You start gaining special abilities at level 1 and not at level 3, and it's expanded out to a little bit more.
Well, I feel like the way that the monk is set up, it shows you a lot about the philosophy of the design at the beginning, and maybe what you're seeing is a change in the approach to it. Because, for one thing, the monk has the same sort of design approach as the magic user does. The idea that they're balanced across the lifetime of the character rather than being balanced across their abilities at any one time. Yeah. You know, they start out weak and they become these amazingly fearsome characters, especially when they get up to the point of having the what do you call it? The quivering palm.
Yeah.
You know, where being able to just kill people with a short stroke. But
the 5-finger exploding heart technique, stuff like that.
Basically, right? But the other thing is, when you look at what it takes to qualify for being a monk, that kind of tells you right there how, at least when Gary Gygax and the others were writing the player's handbook, how they intended for characters to be created. You know, the idea was not you're going to decide what class you want to play and then roll for it. Instead, it was you're going to roll up your abilities and say,
see what you qualify for.
Yeah, the best of.
So that makes it kind of cool,
and that's fine. I just think, and I can see where you're going. Where in many respects, the monk and the magic user have that kind of progression as far as abilities. I think the thing that kind of put people off with the monk is until you get to really 4th or 5th level, you're not really becoming very effective.
Sounds like a magic user to me.
Yeah.
So you might as well just play a magic user, which is easier to qualify for.
Well, I think the difference is what you've got here with the monk, and I'm saying this, I haven't actually played one myself, so all theoretical. But it seems to me that the difference with the monk is that you have a character who can be incredibly effective when they have no weapons as a fighter.
Yeah, right. And in fact, I think that was one of the things that is changed in this article. I'm going to have to check, but I think they put them under the fighter section. I think in the PHP they're as thieves. They fight as thieves as far as respect to their levels. I think in the article, I got to read through it again, but I thought the guy treats them as under the fighter class.
Yeah. Well, I
not so certain about that.
I have to assume that they were thought through and play tested and everything else before they made it into the PHP. So, and there's probably also a reason that the issue of Dragon you're talking about, I'm not certain, but I think that came out before the Oriental Adventures book.
Yes, it did. Yeah, by about 4 years.
So the fact that it didn't end up in the book shows that at least the people who were creating these thought it was already well balanced and well designed. So maybe if you played the version in Dragon, you would have, a bit of a munchkin on your hands.
Yeah,
I doubt that.
Let's try it.
Well, I'll play it.
Maybe we should have a pickup game at Gen Con.
Yeah. All monks all the time. Full party of monks.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
It'd be like Avatar Last Airbender. There you go.
Yeah.
Could you? I don't know. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
A whole party of monks would be kind of cool, though. It'd be interesting, to say the least.
Like a
yeah, especially once they get all of their monk followers.
The Shaolin Showdown or something like that. Never know.
Yeah, I think this is where the problem is for me with the monks is that I never really got into like the old kung fu films. I don't listen to Wu-Tang Crew, Wu-Tang Clan. See, I don't even know what they're called. Crew, clan, whatever. So because it's not really a fictional what I care that much about, I was never really enticed to play a monk.
Yeah, I wasn't either. And I guess it was just, you would, like you said, you would think that it was play tested before that. I mean, who knows? I mean, you could also assume that maybe Mr. Myers, when he wrote this article, he probably play tested this thing too. Maybe it does work. I don't know. But I don't know. I was never really interested in that much of that stuff either.
Well, now I can't leave out some of the things we've even talked about before, which is like the monk's ability to dodge missile weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a couple of discussions on that.
Right. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, what else can they do? Get up to higher levels?
Disease.
Well, I mean,
telepathic and mind blast attacks.
They have immunity to disease, I think, or as a poison.
At 11th level, they're immune to all poisons.
That's it, poisons.
Mm-hmm. It's a paladin that's immune to disease.
If you get up to 12th level, Geas and quest spells have no effect upon them.
Good.
So,
but I mean, there's a lot of good things in there. I mean, being able to mask your mind so ESP doesn't work, not being. Oh, actually, you know what? Vince was 100% right. At 5th level, the monk is no longer subject to disease of any sort or ever affected by haste or slow spells.
And that's at 5th.
5th.
Yeah.
And as soon as they become a master at level 6, they have the ability to basically play dead. They can go to a cataleptic state and completely and appear dead, which doesn't sound like much, but you can think of a lot of ways that would be useful in a campaign.
Yeah.
One other thing I didn't understand about the monk class, they don't have a whole lot of weapons on their, this is their, hand-to-hand weapon list or missile weapon list.
Well, they're all about open hand attack.
Well, right. But the ones that they do have, there's one off there that just doesn't make any sense why it isn't there, and that's the scimitar. I would think the scimitar would be on there.
Isn't the scimitar a Middle Eastern weapon?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I think, kind of going with that setting, I think a scimitar might be similar to other weapons in that culture. I would at least think the scimitar might be on there, or a short sword, or something.
Well, where's the weapons list? I don't even know where to look.
The weapons list is on page 19 of the PHB. They can use bow sticks.
Of course, it's not next to the rest of the monk stuff. Okay.
Bow sticks, club, crossbow, dagger, hand axe, javelin, joe stick, polearm, spear, staff. So any polearm.
The only thing that kind of sticks out here for me is why they get crossbows, daggers, and hand axes.
And
those don't feel very monkey.
No. I would think a bow would be more kind of like that if they're going to use like a missile weapon.
Yeah, I can see with a bow, but a crossbow. That seems, that's the medieval. That's the medieval assault rifle.
Yeah, right. I'm looking in the Oriental Adventures book to see if they might have changed it up a little.
It's like the Amish using a cell phone.
Oh, they like those cell phones. There was one of them that got busted for sexting recently.
Oh, God.
Wow.
It's true.
I don't want to get into
that.
there.
Not even going there.
Well, here we go.
But,
they did change it up a little bit in the Oriental Adventures book. It says, martial arts weapons any, axe, hand, bokuto. I'm not even going to pronounce the next one. Crossbow, any, dagger, daikyu, halberd, javelin, kusarigama, lasso, naginata, parang, spear, and trident.
I like the trident. That's kind of cool.
I like the trident idea. That's actually kind of cool.
I like the idea of an aquatic monk. So a monk that's grown up on an island that's sort of the Greyhawk equivalent of a.
And then you have one that
Indonesia something
lives on a volcano. Another one that lives in lives near the clouds on a mountain. So you have. I'm talking Avatar: Last Airbender.
See, I never saw that movie, so I'm not going to get it.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should be shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you like that movie, but your opinion.
Well, no, I got a 10-year-old who's totally into Avatar: Last Airbender. Watched the whole series.
That's about the right age level for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
good.
fit in because I have the mentality of a 10-year-old, so it kind of fits in just fine.
I don't think we're arguing about that.
No argument even for myself. So
I have the
I
strength
don't
of a 10-year-old.
No, I don't have the strength of a 10-year-old. 12, but not 10. Yeah. So the weapons list was expanded in the other book, which is good. So
About the dragon,
I like that. I still think a scimitar should be in there for some reason. I don't know why.
What about the Dragon magazine? Did they expand on it at all? Or
No, actually, I don't think they did. Giving a quick glance through the article, it's only like 4 pages. No, none of the weapons have been changed.
Huh.
I personally would add the scimitar, to his repertoire, just because it just feels like something. It's a curved blade kind of thing. It just seems like that would be a cool thing for a monk to use. I'm just thinking like the martial arts.
Well, you've got a campaign where clerics are walking around with them, so you might as well give them to your monks.
Yeah, why not? It depends on what god they worship. What allows those sorts of weapons, and that's in my campaign. So
I don't.
there.
I don't. Is that a 1E rule or is that a 2E? I don't know.
That's my rule because I house
Sorry.
rule. So there.
All right.
Ah.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment then. I think we beat this one down.
Yes, with monkish fists.
Nah.
Fists of Fury.
Had to add to it, huh, Jason?
Had to.
Yeah.
You think I'm mad? Perhaps I am.
What are you, a wizard? Genius?
Darn. A perfectly good brain wasted.
Game mechanics.
Okay, so moving into game mechanics. And we're going to talk this week about the morale rules. That's a hard word for me to say.
How about
I
morass?
just realized. I didn't think morale was a hard word for me to say, but apparently it is.
It is.
Yeah, it's almost like I can't actually pronounce the word, and this is ironic coming from Iowa, rural. Can you guys say that word?
Rural?
Yeah, that's about as good as I can do, too.
Rural.
Yeah. And morale's a little hard for me, too. So morale rules. Now that my morale has been lowered by trying to say the word. So
Jason's running away.
bravely ran away. Over to the Dungeon Master's Guide. If you're following along, it's on page 67. And morale. Now, this is only for NPCs and creatures. One of the places this threw me when the first time I ever played the game when I was a kid is that I didn't really, being 13 or 14 or 12 or whatever age I was, didn't really read the book carefully enough to realize that was just for NPCs, and we tried to apply this to player characters. So, and I bet I'm not the only one.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I'm the only one here, but I'm sure if anybody else has done that, please let us know so that I don't care if I feel stupid, but but anyway, so the morale checks, it's basically a way to provide some mechanics to something that in the original Dungeons and Dragons would have been more of a play it like you see it, more of a ruling. Do you think they're going to run away at this point or not? And here it gives you a chance to actually roll morale checks if you want to have a mechanic to the whole thing. And the stuff that's going to lead to that is pretty predictable. If you're facing an obviously superior force, so like the one force is just nailing you twice as much as the other one.
Or as Detective Vince is like, I don't care about this rule. I don't use it. But his reaction was like, eh.
I'm waiting for Jason to let Jason do his spiel.
Save or Die is the show for people that want to play the OD&D rules, and that's where you make the rulings. And here we talk about the books that have all these roles that you could do if you would just wanted to have a mechanic. So
go on.
We got a mechanic. So anyways, if you're in a situation where you think you're going to have to make a morale check, you probably are. Your leader's unconscious. Quarter of your party's been slain. Your leader deserts, and there's all these percentages that go along with it, and they're pretty predictable. 5% for a low thing up to like maybe 30%. And then there's all these other modifiers that come into it, like, how many casualties you've been giving, etc. And then the question is, what are they going to do when this happens? So this is where things like your player's charisma come into play. You've got a bunch of henchmen, and at this point, finally that charisma stat means something. Hope you didn't use it for a dump stat, right?
Oh my God. You mean charisma is used for something?
It is if you use this rule.
Oh, I'm excited now. Do tell.
Yeah, so your charisma is going to affect the reaction modifiers, and you're going to get a bonus or you're going to get a negative on that. So if you've got Dudley Do Right, the most charismatic Mountie in the land, and he's a paladin. Yeah, so he's going to have a better chance of keeping his followers on his side. It'll be easier to rouse the troops.
So that's the reaction adjustment on your charisma table.
Yeah, so that's where you go with that. And basically, it's just a question of, are they going to fall back and continue to fight? Are they going to just disengage? Are they going to flee in panic or actually surrender to the other side? And it's also a good one because if you're fighting against monsters and the DM's using this rule, it finally gives you an actual reason as a DM to be able to say, yeah, this creature is going to surrender to you now. So if you're trying to figure out what's it going to take to get the Lich to surrender, your morale table can give you a chance to put a mechanic to that.
Lich is not going to surrender. Come on.
Depends how overwhelming your force is.
Maybe the Lich's little brother, but not the Lich.
I don't know.
His little brother. Here, take my brother.
Yes, take my brother.
Take my brother Sven. He's no good to me.
Skeletor.
It's only a specter.
Yeah. All right, this is definitely one rule that I do not like. I do not use by my snicker snuck before that you heard, Nick. I cannot stand this rule. Yeah, my meh. I hate this rule. I hate it. I don't like dice leaving it up to me. I hate it because I don't like dice leaving it up to me. I like to decide on my own when a monster's going to run, when they're going to surrender. I can tell by the way combat's going if I want a monster to do a certain thing, and it all involves into my story. So if I want those kobolds to say, oh no, and drop down to their knees and say, we surrender, then they'll surrender. They sound like Smurfs. Uh-oh, Nick, that's week 3.
What's week 3?
3 weeks in a row with the Smurf reference.
Oh, how dare you!
You're probably getting excited about the movie, right?
No, let's not go there.
Well, look, I know you're a big Neil Patrick Harris fan, and I know you love the Smurfs, so it's only natural.
Don't be dissing NPA or NHP, whatever. NPH, that's it.
Yes.
3 times.
Okay, anyway, morale.
Yeah. No, it's one rule I don't like. I just don't like this rule.
I kind of like this rule, but I think it really depends on the situation. If it's going to get in the way of a role play situation where I just want to see, I want to role play this group of monsters out, fine. I think I would use the morale rules if it was like, if there was a random encounter that came up, I just don't want to worry about role playing it. I would probably use the morale rules, just see if they flee or surrender or they continue the attack or whatever.
For those,
I would.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nick.
Use it sparing. I would just use it sparingly. It depends on the situation.
So what method of morales do you guys actually use? What dice rolling method do you use? Jason, you're strictly by the book, I assume, right?
Well, I kind of treat it the same way that I'll treat any other rule or roll that comes up. To your point, if I've got a story to tell, if I've got something for them to go through, there's occasionally, we talked about fudging rolls before, occasionally the monster who would have hit but missed it by 1 and I really need them to connect, they're going to make their roll.
Right.
So it's the same sort of thing. I do actually use this rule, but if it's going to screw up the adventure, if having the big bad guy at the end surrender would totally throw off what they were trying to do, then I wouldn't bother rolling for it.
Right.
Or if I needed him to, for that matter, I wouldn't leave it up to the dice. But
so
I think,
it's like I said, kind of like it depends on the situation, really.
Yeah, I prefer to use it because I like to roll. I love rolling the dice, so I prefer to use it. And I like charisma to mean something. If there's a very charismatic character, I like them to be able to take advantage of that.
Role play it.
Well, of course, role play it. But if you've got a if you've got a character with an 18 charisma, let's be perfectly honest. How many gamers do you know with an 18 charisma in real life?
I know a couple. They go to Mepicon all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Ruining my point.
And you should see how many people walk by the table and drool over them. Just, what is it? Porn stars that play D&D.
Oh, well, there you go.
You're thinking of comeliness, not charisma.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, but still, I mean, my point is that, yeah, you got to roleplay it, but there are some stats like charisma that if your charisma is not... If you're playing a character who's got only a 3, or not a 3, I mean, you're not going to do that, but like a 6 charisma or something, it's kind of like the intelligence. Yes, roleplay it, but also I'd prefer you to try to roleplay it within the stats that are given.
Yeah.
And
that makes
sense. I don't know if you can roleplay me into as the DM deciding whether the orc is going to, flee in panic or just surrender. Maybe sometimes I'd like to give that a roll.
I usually just go on by how I feel at the time and how it's going to affect my story. You know how we do it on Save or Die podcast.
One that doesn't use AD&D rules?
Yes, the one that doesn't. Shut up.
Classic D&D.
Classic. Anyway, so that's how we do it. Let's hear how you do it out there. I'm interested to know because this is one of those rules that you take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's not like it's one of those things that you have to use or not. It's just kind of there, kind of like an add-on.
It's book.
Oh, gee. It's in the book, so I have to use it.
Well, I'm just saying, you want to play...
Do you use weapon, armor, modifiers?
He does.
Yeah, actually, I do.
He used it in the game we played at Gen Con last year.
Oh.
He used it in this podcast that he did.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, he's the ultimate core.
Wow.
He's the core guy.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's a perfectly awesome game system you can play if you don't like...
I understand, but you're the only person I've ever known in my 30 years of gaming that ever used the weapon, the armor modifiers. I have never known anybody else. That's
not even the great Joe DM used it. So
the great Joe DM used it?
I just like the rules.
No, he didn't use it.
Oh.
So anyway, write us, email us, and smoke us. Signal, that is, not smoke us physically, but I have to clarify that since the last time.
Yeah, no, don't pull a Keith Richards because I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Now we'll head into Creature Feature.
Creature feature.
Creature Feature.
Creature feature.
Another
crazy.
Yeah, crazy and wild. We got the Algoid. That's how I pronounce it. Am I pronouncing that right, Jason?
No. This is
how many L's did you just put in it?
Algoid.
There you go.
Algoid.
Like Altoids.
Like Altoids.
Pretty much this is your mind-blasting Hulk
hemorrhoid
/thing / plant
Hulk
creature
smash
/ whatever.
Algae Hulk smash.
Pretty much this is a colony of algae that forms into this massive creature that can attack, and it can do mind blast once per day, which I find awesome.
Nasty. You don't get. How does this rudimentary algae intelligence have psionics?
They drank a lot of poisonous water.
I guess.
They were next to a factory.
You're asking to put logic in a game with fairies and elves and dragons, guys. I mean, it's just...
Yes, I am.
Just go with it.
And edge weapons pass right through them without doing any damage whatsoever.
Cool.
Well, that makes sense. And but hold on a second. Okay, yeah, I guess they could open up on one side, close down. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Blunt weapons do
makes
full
sense.
Damage.
Finally, Nick's character wouldn't make it through because he doesn't use blunt weapons.
Yeah. Let that go.
What I like is they have they can control like other trees and stuff in the area, so you can a treant come to life and start attacking for it. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't use too many of these. It's just appearing 1 to 6, and it's an armor class of 5 with a hit dice of 5. I wouldn't put too many of these together. Pretty dangerous.
You're immune to fireball and lightning.
Yeah.
Dang.
Immune to fireball is kind of weird. I think Fireball would be pretty good at an algae colony.
Well, they're wet, so...
Yeah, but a fireball is pretty intense.
Yeah.